You okay?
The sun's going to go down like halfway through this podcast.
Maybe for you. The sun went down on my life a long time ago. Try not to do that during the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the ZBN podcast. This is episode 29. I am Spigel, your host. With me is Hex2PLU.
Hey guys.
Mr. Chris.
Hello.
And joining us is half of Rush the Fort, or I would argue all of Rush the Fort, Todd Rico.
Ooh.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm the better half.
That's funny. Today, we're going to be doing more user questions, as I promised the other show that we did. We didn't quite get through all the great questions that people sent us, so we wanted to do another show. So how's everyone doing today?
Doing well.
You all ready?
My throat's dry from recording 8-Brit.
Yeah, they just did 8-Brit, so you won't hear Chris talk that much, but he doesn't talk that much anyway. So we'll be.
I wanted to be here for more user questions because I like user questions.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, Zyber couldn't be here today, but he had other obligations, I guess, or something. So here we are. We're going to answer some user questions. First, I actually would like to respond to a message that was sent to us on YouTube. This is from XX Future Generation XX, and it says, "You will not get views by making us look at nothing. Show yourself or gameplay." Well, okay then. I guess we'll show ourselves right here.
There we go. And my photo right there.
Hi.
Todd. Hello, everybody.
Whoever's editing this will be really hating me right now.
If you want to see what I look like, follow me on Twitter at CJMung_.
Yeah, we'll do the Twitter handles at the end.
Why
Chris.
the underscore?
Because CJ Monk wasn't available.
Yeah, it was
so
taken
you
by
use an underscore? Did you?
The CJ Monk was taken by the real CJ Monk.
Unreal.
So okay, we're gonna do questions now. That's enough of this garbage. Real quick, actually, before we start, I did get most messages from people who sent in stuff regarding the prizes for the giveaway that we did. If you had trouble sending our YouTube account a message, go ahead and email zeldaboardpodcast@gmail.com. That's zeldaboard, BOARD, podcast@gmail.com, and we'll get your stuff out. The new 3DS has already been sent. Smearg has been contacted regarding his podcast and he will be appearing on a future episode, and blah, 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 blah. So we are going to do the user questions, finally, enough teasing. We're just going to kick it off. This one is from ChazZF, and the question is, do you guys have any guilty pleasure games? Games you know just aren't very good, but you love them anyway for whatever reason?
Very yes. I have an answer.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a game that I played a lot on the N64, and we all know a lot of the games during that time were transitioning into 3D, and not all of them did it well. But we didn't really know any better because none of them were doing it well. So
I think there's still like a really good charm to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like we know the games aren't good. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Do you really? It's
Maybe
Mystical Ninja starring Joman.
Oh no, I didn't
Or
know
Goemon.
that.
I don't know how you say his name. I
I
called him Joman when I was a kid. But yeah, it's a game that most of the games in the franchise weren't released in the US. It was mostly just in Japan. But this one came to the US, and it's about... Well, the villain is basically trying to turn Japan into a giant dancing stage or something like that. And so throughout the game, you use your money as a projectile weapon, and your main weapon is a pipe, like a smoking pipe that you use to hit people.
So is this a platformer?
So weird.
Yeah, it's a platformer.
See,
it's a 3D
this
platformer.
that sounds amazing to me. That sounds like a great game. I would.
There's
totally
also
play that.
segments.
As a pimp?
There's also segments where all of your characters, you have a party, so you can switch between 4 different characters. And during these boss segments, all 4 of your characters go into this like Megazord thing, which is basically just a giant version of Goemon with roller skates. And you roller skate through these fields in Japan, tripping over bridges and stuff like that. And then you fight this giant mech for all of the bosses. And it's pretty campy, but it's hilarious.
I have to ask, where did you first play this game?
N64, I found it at a Blockbuster.
You rented it at Blockbuster? That's awesome. Do you still have it?
No.
That's
I rented it. I never owned it.
Well, I don't know. You might have bought it. Unless, so is it a guilty pleasure game? When was the last time you played it, though?
Well, that's the thing. I don't play very many games at all, so I don't have time for any guilty pleasure games.
Oh, you think you're so good
that's why
because you
I
don't have
end up
time to
just
play
liking
games.
them instead of playing them.
Okay. Todd, go.
I was gonna make some sort of a joke about like Metroid Other M, of course, because that's like game of the year. Everyone knows it's the best Metroid game of all time. But actually,
That's a tired joke.
I sort of wanted. I actually almost sort of want to keep playing it though, but other than that, I would say like Team Fortress 2 in a way, because I don't know why, but whenever I'm playing it, I always get messages from my friends going like, "What are you doing? What are you playing this cheap chump game, this scrub game?" And I'm like, I don't know, I like it. It's good, I think. So I know it's popular though, so I don't know if I really classify that as a guilty pleasure per se.
Yeah, your friends are making no sense. That's like considered a good game.
Yeah. But yeah, I would actually want to play more Metroid Other M past the bad dialogue, the bad gameplay of switching, the other stuff, and
Actually,
overall walkthrough of a game.
I can think of a guilty pleasure, but I guess I did enjoy Other M actually.
Yeah.
So I guess put me down for that column.
Your answer, Chris, would be Star Fox Command. That is the correct
Yes.
answer.
That is a good game.
People
I don't
say it's
care.
not, so.
It is.
So I think I'm gonna go with mine and say, real quick, actually, Todd, I wanted to address the fact that you like all your friends say Team Fortress 2 is no good. I think you get that a lot, not you, but like everybody, anyone that plays an old game that is considered to be outdated by newer games that have come out. Like, I guess Call of Duty would be the number one, multiplayer shooter that's out there right now, and people that like that game are gonna look back at anything that's old and say, why would you ever play that? Not everybody, of course, but I feel like that's sort of the reaction that gamers that play newer games often give to older games, regardless of the quality of those games. Would you disagree with me on that?
No, that sounds about right. I was trying to come up with an example of some game that I've played before that would be good for that, but
I remember specifically it was like 2003. I was still playing my N64 a lot, even though I just got my GameCube, and I was playing Banjo-Kazooie, and I was like talking to someone about it online. They're like, "That's like a 5-year-old game. Why would you play that garbage?" And I'm like, "Because it's still really good," and it's still really good, by the way. I love Banjo-Kazooie. And actually, my guilty pleasure game would be Donkey Kong 64, which I know a lot of people don't care for. But I really love that game. Like, there's something about it. And people are like, oh, it's an overload on collectibles. And I'm like, but I like collecting things.
Yeah, that's an appeal. I don't think I've ever played that game somehow. I've never come across that game.
It's on Wii U Virtual Console.
I probably should just pick it up, I guess.
I think it's worth $10. I mean, it's worth at least... I mean, maybe if you don't have any nostalgia attached to the game, you might hate it. But I don't know. There's a lot of nostalgia there for me.
Collectathons just appear to be a love or hate sort of thing. So
yeah, like Omni's really excited about Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah,
as am I. And that's going to be a
lot of people
collectathon.
are. I mean, it's been a while since we had a game like that. So
yeah, that's true.
Maybe people are ready for it again. I think they just got burnt out.
What about Crash Bandicoot?
The Crash Bandicoot game I played on Rush the 4. It's not more or less a guilty pleasure, but more of like a guilty pleasure towards myself about like I hate playing the game, but it was really fun to play. So like I never wanted to play it, but then I was playing it and I wanted to quit, but I was still playing it because it was sort of fun. It was like a real love-hate relationship with the game. So that would probably be.
You played Crash Bandicoot 2, didn't you? And
I think so.
That's
Cortex Strikes Back.
Yeah, and that's considered like one of the better like platformers out there. Really, I'd probably say number 3 is better though.
Crash 2 was always my favorite of those 3 first Crash games. I don't know why. I just felt like it was better designed than the other 2.
The depth perception and the boulders were just the biggest banes to deal with in that game.
But that boulder music, though, I was thinking about having that on Space Pirate Radio. That boulder music at some point. That's got to get on there. So I
have a quick guilty pleasure.
Okay,
when I was younger, I used to love Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh God.
That
is a good answer.
Oh no! I just remembered. I just used to call myself Shadow in like, elementary school.
That is not something you should have told us.
Wait, because of the hedgehog?
And kids were like, "So like you mean Shadow the Hedgehog?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just Shadow." I had a lot of issues back then, though.
I'm just
Okay,
Shadow. I'm
back
just the ultimate
off.
life form.
Let's be honest. The reason we're all doing this show is because we all had major super issues when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like
I had
the reason,
minor
like
super
Omni's
issues.
Omni's name is based off a character he made up, and my username isn't even my real middle name, even though I pretend it is. So
You lied to me.
so secrets are being divulged today.
My name was built from a RuneScape account I made about, I don't know, when I was 12.
What,
My
Todorico or
username is
Shadow?
based on my name.
Todorico.
But at least
Shut
that
up.
stems from
Shut up,
your
Chris.
real name.
Or
Right?
does
But
it?
guys, I got a really important question.
I'll bet you
Are
do.
you ready?
No,
I'm
not
you're
ready.
Not a user. We're not going to answer it.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
What are you talking about?
I don't understand the joke.
Shadow?
It's a quote from Shadow the Hedgehog, damn it.
Oh,
Wait, they said "damn" in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and everyone
Yeah.
made like a big deal
Shadow
out of it.
cursed a lot
Wow.
in that game.
That's
Where's
awesome.
that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
He's a rebel.
That's amazing.
Pretty much Edge.
So actually, speaking of Edge, let's go ahead and answer this question right here, because I feel like it's related. This is from Kyle Funk, and he asks, Nintendo undoubtedly. This is not a question. This is actually a statement. But then he goes and asks a question. Nintendo undoubtedly has one of the strongest brands in the video game market, looking at its lifespan and impact on the world. But with Sony and Microsoft gaining more and more supporters over the years, do you think the nostalgia of our beloved Nintendo games will die down and put Nintendo into a serious hole? Would you rather have Nintendo sell out to appeal to a wider audience? I guess that's the edgy part. Or have Nintendo keep being Nintendo and risk a potential downfall?
But, all right, well, let's see.
You know, it's funny because like you could say they sold out with the Wii, but yet they still had a lot of great games released for that. So I'm not really complaining too much if whatever they do. I feel like whatever they do, I'll be happy with them anyway. I'm not going to be happy with everything.
In the sense of this question, how was the Wii a sellout? I feel like it would be the opposite of that because they totally didn't go after the market that Sony and Microsoft went after.
Oh, well, because
They
people
went
be like,
after the bigger
they
market."
sold to the casuals and motion controls and
I know,
elderly people.
I know this
Started the
isn't-
casual gaming market, basically.
Yeah, I know this isn't effortless, but I wanted to complain about this a little bit. I just hate that my hobby has become so popular. It drives me crazy. So naturally
Your
I
hobby
gravitate
being
towards
gaming?
Yeah. So naturally I gravitate towards the least popular of the three companies. That's just who I am, man.
Listen, you're not a real gamer unless you play all three, okay? You have to like all three to be a real gamer.
No one understands that joke, Todd.
Yeah.
You want to explain that a little bit?
No, because the guy has a ton of subscribers and would just destroy us if I
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
his new
Yeah, he'd
name.
really destroy us. He'd come after us.
He'd be like, listen here, you scrub. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I love you.
But to the actual question at
Yeah,
hand,
should we answer the question?
I would like to say that like there was that thing I remember us talking about or a long time ago or maybe a week ago about how the new generation is getting into the gaming, whereas we're playing Nintendo for like not nostalgia 100%, but we're sort of more invested by this point, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't think they're really gonna. It's like the nostalgia will die down and put Nintendo in a serious hole. I don't think that's necessarily true because there's a new generation of gamers coming into the market, and they're experiencing these games like we did when we were kids with those new games.
Maybe.
So I honestly think there's going to be a new wave, especially with like I don't know. There's always like. I was going to say, especially with all the middle schools right now getting into high school, but that's every year. So that.
So are you saying basically that you view games like Captain Toad as bringing in the same type of audience that a game like, say, Donkey Kong 64 would have 10 years ago?
Maybe if it's
Or
like
15 years ago. Oh my gosh, we're old.
I think the difference
Iconic enough.
is that back when games like Donkey Kong 64 and Mario 64 and those games, back when those games were coming out for us, that was the norm in the entire industry. Those kinds of games, mascot platformers and things like that. Today, like the landscape has changed so much, and first-person shooters are the king right now, right? As
Yeah.
well as really, really, really simplistic games like Angry Birds and Cut the Rope, and those are even aged examples at this point. I mean, Flappy Bird was the thing, even though it was just like a trend.
Spiky Walls is the updated version of Flappy Bird. It's on Wii U. You can get it for 75 cents right now.
Right.
Brought to
But
you by
basically,
Spiky
like,
Walls.
the average game right now is different from what it was back then. And
Oh yeah.
that's why I feel like Nintendo isn't as popular, is because they're not really chasing after what's trendy. They're kind of doing what they've been doing for the longest time, and they're good at it. And they make really great games in those genres, but...
So to kind of drive it back to the original question, would you rather have Nintendo quote unquote sell out to appeal to that wide audience, or have Nintendo keep being Nintendo?
Well, I think they're sort of updating their system a bit with getting into the more modern style of stuff with that DLC, and like Splatoon with its original IP getting into the shooter base a bit there. And like like I said, the DLC and something else.
Yeah, and they're even they're sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, Nintendo do try to... They're not very modern in some aspects online. But like, you know, they have Splatoon, which is a shooter, and people have always wanted Nintendo to do a shooter. And then, you know, to appeal to a wider audience, well, they got their whole mobile thing going on. So, you know, you could argue that maybe.
Yeah, I think they're making moves to get back into a position where a lot of that new audience or that new generation is going to be exposed to Nintendo properties that maybe they weren't, because Nintendo wasn't in the right places with their console and whatnot. But being on smartphones is going to help them tremendously. Being in a theme park is going to help them tremendously.
Yes, I forgot about
Theme
that.
park.
That was the other thing.
Yeah,
It's all
gonna be
about
really
exposing
interesting.
their brand in a way that people will want to experience it. And right now, consoles and handhelds, or their console and their handheld, isn't what people are chasing after to experience that brand. It's things like smartphones and theme
Right.
parks, I guess. So I think what they need to do is continue to try new things, because for a long time they weren't really. Like, they were playing it safe with their IPs, not really making anything new. It was always Mario, Zelda, and then they started dipping into the whole Mii universe with all of these Wii branded games. And those don't hold a lot of brand value to me. So I
They
feel
hold
like
as much.
long
They
as
hold as much brand value as you are. You know,
as much as great value does for Walmart.
right? Exactly.
So it's like they need to keep doing what they're doing with Splatoon. Continue creating new ideas, presenting them in new ways instead of always putting Mario in it, and see what people latch onto. And it's obviously a risk, because developing for a new franchise or a new property is always difficult, because people already know and love Mario and Zelda, stuff like that. So I think Splatoon is going to be very telling for them.
So
Nintendo made a... Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I totally agree with you. And regarding the question, I don't think it's an either or. I don't think they have to either sell out or keep being Nintendo. I think they can actually. I don't want to say do both, because sellout has such a negative connotation to it. But I feel like what you said, Omni, with the appealing to a wider audience just by nature of having their brand out there, I think it's possible for them to keep being Nintendo, but just change the way they approach. I don't want to say marketing, but I guess marketing would be the right term. And they can definitely do that. Did you really just ask that?
Yeah, what's marketing? I work for Nintendo. I don't know what it is.
Like commercials and stuff like that?
Oh, they did so good with the latest commercials.
Yeah, can we talk for a second about how awful...
There's a little tangent here with the Splatoon.
We need to talk about this
commercial.
horrible Splatoon commercial, okay? Hold on, everyone stop talking real quick. Roll the Splatoon commercial. Roll one of them right here.
God.
You're a kid now, you're a squid now. You're a kid, you're a squid, you're a kid, you're a squid, you're a kid now. Ink it all now, up the wall now. Disappear, going back when you turn and attack. You're a squid now. Rise out of the ink, and push me through.
Rated everyone 10 and up.
Okay, so what did you all think? What did you all think of that commercial?
Okay,
I
so it's
never
clearly
So we all just
Going-
watched it.
yeah. Chris saw it right
Of
here.
course we did.
You were with us.
I think
didn't clip
Europe
to
got
the
like the
audio.
Japanese one, but obviously
Oh, yes.
with English.
Hey, attention
yeah.
guy who messaged us. We just showed you something. Are you happy? This is what we come up with.
Yeah.
But our faces weren't on it.
But yeah, they definitely were appealing to a different kind of audience. I sort of don't like how Nintendo treats America like patronizing style, or like, hey, here's this new game. Woo, this is Splatoon. I don't know. I know they go for the kids in the Americas, but they always, I don't know, they don't like how they treat America, and I guess English, because I guess Chris gets this commercial too, possibly.
Our one is the Japanese one, but like...
Oh,
have you guys seen the commercial actually on TV? Like, what channel they advertise? What channel was it on?
On a bunch of them. On my news channel, I saw it on Cartoon Network especially. Oh, boy. I mean, given their demographic.
I mean, do kids like this stuff? Like, I really don't know what kids... I think this is just a sign of how out of touch we are.
I wouldn't have, but I mean...
Does anybody here have, like, younger siblings?
I mean, I'm the youngest. So, I mean, that's my perspective from, like, I don't know. I love watching video game commercials for some reason. I love being manipulated towards buying games like that. But that made me, as much as I love Splatoon, that made me want to not get it. And I already pre-ordered it.
Right? I felt the same way. And the demo was amazing. We haven't even talked about that on this show.
Oh, yeah, and there's another demo on the 23rd.
Yeah, everyone look out for us. We'll be out there shooting you.
Yeah.
Not me, I have work, but I played enough. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, but the commercial was awful, and I don't know. It did feel pandering to me. And I don't know why they felt like they needed to do that, because the Japanese commercial was excellent. It showed this gray world, which I thought was almost like symbolism for what shooters currently are. And then all of a sudden, here it is getting filled with color. And here's this like creature thing swimming through. It's like, well, what's that? And it's like, oh, it's a squid because it's a new IP. I don't know. But I thought they approached it definitely the right way with the Japanese commercial. Yeah.
Maybe kids really do like it. I don't know.
Maybe.
It makes me sad to think
that explains why I don't like kids if they like that. So.
You damn kids.
I mean, if it works,
It's
more power to you,
auto-tuned
Nintendo.
dubstep.
If it works, then good job. You cracked what we would never have done. But
Now that is selling out right there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Now that's what selling out would be like.
Yeah.
I think everyone sells out when it comes to marketing. I think Nintendo needs to sell out more when it comes to marketing, because they're not
I don't
doing a good
honestly
enough
think
job.
selling out. I remember
distinctly they had an advertisement that they like put out, I think in November of last year, where they're like, check out all these games on Metacritic that got high scores from Nintendo. Now compare those to the other two companies. And it was like, wow, that was ballsy.
I remember
like that. I think they need to do more of that type of like aggressive selling out marketing campaign stuff, because I think that's ultimately, that's going to drive sales. I like that. I like when they put it out there that like, hey, look,
that's going to be seen by people who browse the internet, which is not kids, because you have to be like 13.
No, I'm not saying in kids in general. I'm saying everybody.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's move on.
Nintendo needs to expand, but yeah, whatever.
So I'm not sure if we covered that question well enough, but I feel like we sort of covered it from many angles. So I don't know. Hopefully that was good enough for you, Kyle. Next question we actually got from a number of different people, and this is basically just a derivative of it. Like, because a lot of people asked, if you could make any game, what would it be? And like just include all aspects. And none of us are game designers except Omni, kind of. So like I've never really thought about designing a game before. So what did you guys make of this? Do you have any ideas that you just love to see get made?
I mean, feel free to answer with an entry in a franchise that you like but didn't create yourself. Like
I was just
feel like
gonna
you could do
say,
that too.
like, can this be sequels?
Yeah, make a Star Fox game, Chris.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I'd put multiplayer in it, and I'd have a good campaign, and then I'd put co-op in it, and then
I'd get a
Star
southern
Fox.
drawl while I'm
That sounds
talking.
awful. I wouldn't play that.
Personally, I want dinosaurs in Star Fox.
Personally,
they should
I
really
prefer
get
the
around to
air.
doing this.
I saw that joke coming before I said what I said. Oh well.
Was big.
If people don't know, I'm actually aspiring to create a video game company myself with my friends here in
The
good old
ZBN.
South Carolina, and and I've definitely had a lot of ideas, but I won't go into all of them. But I think if I had like a lot more resources, like a team of artists and programmers and whatnot, rather than just 2 people or 3 people, I would make something like a 2.5D platformer with a unintrusive story that's told in a way that's well integrated with the gameplay rather than through cutscenes. And the target audience would probably be something like people who enjoy quirky humor, like Portal and stuff like that. Story, I don't really think of stories myself. I'm not a writer or anything like that, but something that's humorous. And gameplay, I don't know. It's
well, you just said it would be a
impossible to just come up with
2.5D
gameplay on the
platformer.
fly.
So
Yeah,
you
but,
jump
like,
and you.
Well, that's such a basic premise, though. Like,
Well, it is a platformer, so.
well, I mean, yeah, but you can describe so many things with platform. It doesn't really explain what you would do. But I guess if we're not being super specific, then that's sufficient. Yeah, platformer is
Yeah.
my favorite genre.
Mhm.
Perhaps
So-
puzzly platformers.
I would go with a. So I played Earthbound a lot at the beginning of the year, and I fell off of it because I got really busy. But I want to make a game like Earthbound, but in 3D, more like a Xenoblade Chronicles type of thing, with like a bunch of like funny, quirky party members, and they all just like tell jokes, and that's how they do damage to the monsters that they fight.
By
And it's
telling jokes.
Yeah, and it's really like
Insults.
it's really sarcastic and funny and like closer to Citizens of Earth, I guess, than Earthbound in terms of like how seriously it takes itself. I don't know if you guys like ever heard of that, but that came out
Yeah.
like a couple months ago. But
I've heard of that.
and like you collect party members and like you get homeless people and they say crazy things and like I liked what Citizens of Earth had going for it, but they just didn't execute it very well. So I want to do that, but in 3D and executed well, but not just in like this cartoon fantasy world, like in the real world. So that's my.
That sounds very interesting. I just remember.
No, it doesn't. Don't lie. It sounds like
then
the
it's
worst.
awful.
Anyway, it's an RPG. It's an RPG, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing when it finally gets made.
I was just gonna say, I remember an idea I had when I was a kid, actually. Okay, so over here, I don't know if you have this over there, but there's this brand of tea called PG Tips, and they have a mascot,
We don't even
Which is
sell
a-
tea in America.
No, we don't. What's T?
and they have a mascot
letter.
of PG Tips, which is like a little monkey,
Tea is just a letter.
and he's like stitched together. And I had this idea when I was younger that because we had a little plushie of him, and I played with my little toys and stuff. And when I was younger, I had this dream of having some sort of 3D platformer, sort of inspired by Super Mario 64, and it would be like a fabric world. Like Nuts and Bolts, Banjo-Kazooie, that world looked all fabricated. And then you have stuff like Little Big
The
Planet.
gameplay was fabricated.
Oh,
Oh, what?
And then you got things like Woolly World coming out. And
Yeah.
I just realized, like, my dream kid game is sort of real in different places today. Look up that monkey from PG Tips, you'll know what I mean.
no.
No, I'm not going to do
Picture.
that.
I need a
Here's
picture.
here's a picture of it. Here's something to look at.
The little monkey.
If the Splatoon commercials and the picture of the monkey and the pictures of us actually get us more views, I'll be like, well, I stand corrected.
Oh, maybe we should.
So,
Oh, I guess it would be my turn.
yeah,
Huh?
go.
I did a webcomic a while ago that I really should pick up again called Marshmallow Bears. It's like it was based off some seals that were wrapped in snow, and so I sort of drew a blob with a bear face on it. And so I wanted to always make some sort of platformer, sort of like Cave Story, in like the same art style, and just have like my guys going through this story of a comic I made called like Cyborg Wars, and just sort of like, they just progress through the game. I really tried making it at one point, but I was like 14 at the time. And so my brother, like I kept pressuring him to make the game. And so he was like, fine, just make the assets and I'll do it. And so I tried. And apparently making games is hard, you guys.
Yeah.
No.
Other than,
So I
I'm
have.
talking about making games is easy.
yeah.
So I
I've
I
made
realized
like
that
15
this is,
of them.
I realize
Just
this is a
ask
very
Zinka.
good opportunity to try to test the waters a bit with an idea that we came up with a little while back. So you mentioned a webcomic, and we've always been talking
Oh,
about
no.
a game
Oh,
that
boy.
you play in like very, very tiny bite-sized chunks of gameplay every day, and you have to wait for the next day to play the next segment of the story, and it's always a little bit different. Like, does that sound appealing to people? Like playing a game in that sort of format where you digest it in very
Oh.
small chunks, and you have to keep coming back like a webcomic.
So you're talking about Animal Crossing or Tomodachi Life or Nintendogs, where you can only do a certain number of things per day.
But it's story driven rather than
Okay.
like task driven.
So I thought I knew where you were going with this, and now I don't.
Yeah, I
so
thought you were going to talk about that one comic we were going to do.
Can you think of it? Yeah.
that got put on hiatus because it's not like we just can't do it. So
Yeah.
Wait, so Omni, can you think of an example of a game that already does this?
No, not off the top of my
Farmville.
head.
Okay.
Does Farmville do that?
No, but they do certainly a day-by-day play.
I don't really
That's
like that
terrible.
stuff.
No.
Especially if I'm enjoying myself too much and it ends and it'd be like, oh, I'll go wait till tomorrow now.
Mm.
Would it be real time or like
I don't know what you mean by that.
I would like to say that I actually kind of enjoy time investments like that. So I'd be all for it. That I like the idea, especially if it's story driven, because then it then you have a real reason to keep coming back, and you won't ever fall off. Because like with Animal Crossing, it's like, well, I kind of did a lot of stuff, and now I'm just gonna let my town get taken over by the demon weed people.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
I actually don't feel like collecting all the furniture anymore, so I'm just going to stop playing this game.
Yeah. So, but with story, it's like you want to see the end, especially if it's compelling.
An example of like what this would be like?
The Walking Dead, I think, series would be probably the best comparison
Well, I mean, that's
could
like
think of.
episodes, but those are pretty long. I mean, the way you
actually-
read through
that's-
comics is very,
That's
very...
probably the closest thing we can think
momentary.
of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because you have to,
Yeah.
there's season
But
one,
that's like-
and then you have to wait months for each episode, and then
Right.
there's season 2. Yeah.
But that's more
So, yeah,
like
kind
a
of.
television show parallel as opposed to like a webcomic parallel. Because webcomics, you keep coming back to the site and reading the webcomic, even though you only go on the site for like 2 minutes and then read through it and then maybe read through the comments or something like that. And so
So
I
you
feel
play a
like,
game for 2 minutes.
well, maybe not that short, but I mean something where it's sort of community driven and people are experiencing the game at the same time. So they're all like the story is becoming, or the story is getting unveiled to everybody in the world at the same time, and so everyone's kind of going on the same journey at the same time. And maybe people who didn't start playing at the same time can binge play through like the first 4 chapters or whatever, but then once they catch up with everyone else, then they're slowly experiencing the game alongside all the other people that are fans of the webcomic game thing. So I don't know, it's always been an interesting
Oh, I think
dynamic.
I get your idea now, yeah. That's interesting.
What I would think would be cool is if it was a platformer, and if they like jumped from panel to panel, like accomplishing different things within each panel, like telling the story
Oh.
somehow.
What, like Comic Zone from...
Sounds like-
it was on the Mega Drive Genesis.
Oh,
There was
so
a game
that,
called Comic Zone.
oh, well,
It,
oh well.
It was a beat 'em up platformer, and
I
you
thought
go
I just-
from panel to panel.
I thought I just came up with a really cool idea, but
Yeah.
oh well. So that was depressing. So we're going to go to the next question. This is from Jose Ordonez, and the question is: since you began your careers, what were some of the toughest decisions to make, and how did you dealing with it, or how did you deal with it? I guess would be the proper. So first, I'd like to address the career issue. Is this a career? I don't know, but we don't make any money from it. Todd does.
Oh yeah, I've made a whole $1.
You made $1?
Yeah.
Dang, son.
In terms of like career, like the YouTube careers, I guess.
I mean, I don't
or-
know. You can talk about your life if you want.
Oh yeah, like one day I had a rough decision on should I wash this plate or that plate in the dish room when I worked back at my cafeteria job.
So what did you
Or
do?
like-
What did you do?
Oh well,
Did you
I
wash
decided
this one or that
to. I scrubbed both of them and put them in the clean
Whoa,
machine.
I can't.
Yeah, I was like, oh, double the work.
How did you deal with that decision?
Oh well.
How did you deal
I
with
just
it?
kept. I kept working. I guess.
Okay, don't make fun of
for
him.
minimum wage.
Sorry. I know
This
we're
is
all
hard to
like
answer because it's not a
we're all
career.
right out of college or still in college, right?
So Omni has the only actual legitimate career, I think.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to maybe bend the word career towards like YouTube career or something. So that way we could actually have something to talk about other than me washing dishes and tutoring people.
I mean, it'd be great if we had a load of viewers. I don't want to be like PewDiePie or some stupid thing like that. I'd like to have a nice...
Some stupid thing like PewDiePie.
Yeah.
PewDiePie
I would
is
love
the
to be-
stupidest
Bruv,
thing.
Brofist.
I'll be honest with you. If that gets us, if I have to do Brofist and stuff like that to get more viewers, I'd sign me up. I'm selling out right now.
I mean,
You
PewDiePie's
sold
a
out.
nice guy. I
You
just don't like his
sold out.
content. But
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. I met him in real life. We had tea. Just kidding.
Was it PG Tips?
Yes, with a monkey.
Cool.
So I guess with me,
Please, someone answer the question.
as far as
me,
a
please.
career is concerned, ever since going through college to be a graphic designer and then switching my focus to try to create games while suddenly being thrust into a game project during college, I guess I don't feel like any of my decisions have ever been tough because they've always felt obvious to me. So it's like, oh, I really enjoy making games with this group of students that got together and started making games, so I'm gonna do this. So I don't feel like I was ever torn. Maybe I'm just brash, I don't know. But
Maybe you're smart.
maybe, I don't know. It's
Are you
impossible
saying
to
that
know.
people that have to make tough decisions are dumb? Because that's not. That's not true.
That's what Chris is saying.
I know.
No, I'm saying
That's
you're
why I was-
smart because you knew what you wanted to do.
Well, that's the thing, is like I've always been an artist kind of person, so I never had any point in time where I said, you know what, maybe I can do this art thing. I've always chased after art, so for me,
You never doubted yourself at any point, like saying, maybe I don't want to do this for a career because it's
not a single
Wow.
time.
That's pretty BA, man.
So
That's
That's
Say.
dedication right there.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I mean, I guess one of the tough decisions that I've been trying to make is whether or not I should pursue some of these newfound opportunities with YouTube, like now or in the near future. Like, how do I transition from being like a graphic designer with YouTube on the side, or do I want to chase after being a YouTuber? Because it's weird to even try to consider myself a YouTuber, but that's what people
Yeah.
call me.
I hope we'll have you forever. But
So-
I mean, I know that's probably not a realistic expectation, but I hope we can keep you forever.
Well, I mean, this is
Yay.
part of where I started growing as a video editor. Like, I didn't really do any video editing until I started doing stuff for this channel, so I definitely have that to thank for where I am right now. So,
Oh, you're
I don't know.
overselling it, but I appreciate that.
but yeah, I wouldn't say there have been tough decisions, but I don't know. My life has kind of fallen into my lap. I sometimes feel bad when I see other people struggling to figure out what they want to do with their lives, because I've never had that struggle, and I don't know. Maybe that's just because
I'm kind of
I'm
similar.
actually
Actually,
in a, maybe I'm actually going downhill very rapidly, and I just don't know it yet. But
Yeah, you'll get yours.
Just you
yeah, a
wait.
lot of people don't know what they want to do with their lives.
You
But-
what?
Like a lot of people don't know what they want to do for a job.
Yeah,
or
like me.
things.
Like I have no idea. Like I'm just trying to make it work, I just try to do what I love, and I don't know. I got all sap festy on last week's show too, but I just like, for me, tough in terms of tough career decisions. Like there have been tough decisions that I haven't even made yet. Like I'm still in school to do something I don't want to do. I do not want to be in plant science, but I can't change my major because I've been in it for 4 years and I don't want to go through all the work and I can't afford it. And basically my life in terms of my career is a complete disaster, unlike Omni's, where his has fallen into his lap. Like I've had to like kind of improvise a lot, and a lot of it's my own fault because just lack of effort for wanting to do the thing that I'm doing. But tough decisions are upcoming, and I just keep putting them off because I don't want to make those decisions. So right now I'm washing dishes with Todd, but we're making two different kinds of food.
Oh, if only I still had that job.
What?
Yeah, I'm moving, so I don't have that job anymore.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I don't get my tutoring job because I wasn't signed up for the fall, and they've decided to pull that on me in the last minute, so I don't have a job anymore.
Wow. Well,
So this is my whole career right here.
well, I guess I'm washing dishes by myself now.
I'll wash the dishes as I'm unemployed.
isn't QJ washing your dishes?
No, she washes the dishes in the house because I wash all the dishes at work. So,
That's how this works.
Look, I bring
I
home
have
the
a
money.
job, so
I bring home the
you
money.
wash
She
the
washes
dishes.
the dishes. Like I don't think that's a horrible thing.
No.
People are like, "Oh, you're sexist because you make your wife do the dishes." I'm like, "No, she just
no.
she just happens to have more time than I do, so she does the dishes."
Yeah.
I do stuff around the house too, like make
Yeah,
it
like
dirty
podcasts.
and eat her in podcast. Yeah.
In terms of the question, I probably should actually answer for like the YouTube career thing. I had a couple of good points where like Omni said something about how not doing the channel got into like being a video editor. I really forget. I had 2 really, really good points about something.
Well, like,
Trying to think.
So you started doing YouTube just for fun, right? With
Oh,
Josh and for the rest of Fort, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say about like the toughest decisions to make was if we were to play the really popular games in order to get really popular, you know, like the 4 to 5 Nights at Freddy, give or take.
FNAF.
That's the whole title, actually. And
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying we could have sold out if we wanted to, but we decided to play games we wanted to actually play for fun, and so that's why I don't think that's held us back, but it's certainly been its own rough decision that we decided to deal with, I guess.
Like, you know that if you played Ocarina of Time, you'd get more viewers than playing Wind Waker HD or Wind Waker on GameCube.
Neither of those
What
games
was
really
that?
get a lot of viewers.
You okay, Todd?
You what?
No, but I mean, but you know that, right? Like,
But it would.
so- yeah.
Yeah, it would. The other decision was about how whenever I watch a comedian or something, like when I watch like Omni Plays or Game Grumps or like Markiplier or anything like that, my humor always will just derive off of them immediately. Like I'll just steal their punchlines and stuff. Or like my
Plays?
mannerisms.
Which Omni is that?
No, not Omni, Oni.
Oh, Oni,
Oh,
the
okay.
animator, yeah.
Oni
Got
Plays.
confused for a
He
second.
does-
Well, okay, so here's a
But
question
yeah.
for you. I did a Let's Play channel back in college, and it ended because we just ran out of time. We didn't have the time to do it. So, was it ever difficult for you to decide, do I have enough time to continue doing this despite the fact that it's not making me any money
Yeah.
and stuff like that? Like, has that ever been difficult for you guys to do?
We've always put school over the show because of how it's not gotten us very much viewership or money. Because we're like, well, I would like to work on potentially having a career than not even getting one at all. My headphone popped out for a second there, but
Oh, that's what that was.
we'll clip that out. But yeah, we really did not put very high priority other than the quality of the show. But other than like, what was the question again? I really
Well, like, I guess that's
rambled
kind of
for a
why
bit.
your release schedule isn't always consistent, just because you
Yeah.
have life to worry about.
Right.
I always try and post once a week just for the sake of posting something.
Yeah.
But if like, I for some reason always have a 1 video per week limit. Like if I make the Space Pirate Radio video, then I just won't make a Rush of the Fort because I've somehow met my internal quota. Because like I can't dedicate that much time. Other than over this summer, I'll probably be posting more. But it's really based on how much actual free time I have.
You could be like me
outside of
and not have a social life at all.
So
and
I
work
think
That's pretty much-
24/7.
I think that's a tough decision for all of us to make regarding the like making videos all the time, just because it doesn't make us any money and we just do it because we like it and we like hearing from you guys and stuff. So it's always a tough decision when I have to be like, okay, do I want to do this homework assignment or do I want to work on this video for this channel that I'm having a lot more fun with? And I think people find it more rewarding than this garbage essay that I don't even want to do and I won't do a good job on. So I have that decision to make every time I want to do anything. Because it feels to me sometimes it's like, well, it's either life or it's what I actually want. So
So do you guys see yourselves being on YouTube as a thing?
well, I hope
Certainly.
so. We've made like 50 plus videos at this point. So
Yeah.
I hope
certainly do.
I hope it's a thing, and I hope
540 subscribers.
I hope people keep watching, even though we don't have anything to show you visually. So
Except for monkeys.
yeah, and just
weird
I wanted to
faces.
touch on this last part before we move on. This was the same thing I faced with the website, the ZB.net, where everyone just got so busy with their lives, and I'm like, is it worth keeping up a website that we just don't have time to post on? I don't want to put out anything that's crap. So I'm just like, you know what, we're just going to focus on YouTube for now. If we get big enough in the future, we'll bring back the website and everything that comes with it. But
Yeah, I think in hindsight, we probably should have just done YouTube and then website later.
well, no, I think it was a good thing that we did the website
Yeah,
because
it got us together, you know.
yeah, not only that, but it got us
yeah.
it got us a lot of experience with writing and how to present things to people. And I
I've
feel like
never
it's
written
actually,
an article before that, yeah.
I feel like our show didn't really get the YouTube show didn't really even get good until we made this. And the whole reason we even have other shows on this channel is because I had this idea for Space Pirate Radio. Like, what if we did something in addition to just the podcast? And then we did like a bunch of other shows. So people don't even like our other shows, but it's fine. Whatever. So let's move on. We got one more question to do. We're aiming to be a little bit long today, but we're going to be a little bit long. The question is from James Razzie Games. He was sad that he didn't win anything last week, so I wanted to make sure we got his question in. And I think it's a good question too.
I love that guy. He's good.
Yeah, he's a really good user. What do you think the Wii U had failed on and has greatly accomplished? What would you have changed that went wrong, and what would you add to make the future of the Wii U better?
I've got 2 failures in my mind already.
Okay, so let's go around and we'll say like one failure and then we'll say one success apiece.
Do we want to go interweb clockwise or interweb counterclockwise?
I don't even know what that would be because. So just someone go say a failure and an accomplishment,
Chris,
and then
Chris.
Yeah.
All right. My failure. Well, not my failure.
Oh, poor Chris.
Chris, you made the Wii U. How dare you? No wonder.
No.
That was your failure.
I tried to make the Wii U good, but I just couldn't do it. Anyway, I think the Wii U, Nintendo in general, I'm going to talk about the whole online thing again. They just they get so close to getting online right, but they just don't fully get it. Like, can we have like cross gaming chat, please? Like, you can just mute people you don't like. It's not hard, Nintendo. Do it.
Party chat. Come on, just give it.
What did they succeed with?
Oh, I got to do a succeed. Quality games. They always succeed with that.
Oh, Chris took the easy one. All right.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, it is true. All right, since no one's going, I'll go. I think a major failure was the ability to. I think they failed at marketing the gamepad as like a thing that you need, and that's kind of obvious too. But I feel like the reason that they didn't really. I mean, there's a lot of reasons the console didn't sell, but I feel like the gamepad is one of them. Like they packed in this piece of technology that was very expensive to produce and obviously is driving up the cost of the system, but yet they failed to find a way to show it off as like, you need this because this. There were certain games that took good advantage of it, like Pikmin 3, and I thought Zombie U did a really good job with it. But then games would come out like Donkey Kong Country, and they didn't even use it at all for anything. Even off TV play was not advertised, I feel like, as well as it should have been for something that is very useful, especially in households with a lot of people or that only have one TV, like a lot of households in Japan do, which is, I guess, where the idea came from. But they never really got it together until it was too late, I think.
I feel like they have used the gamepad very well. There's some games that they've got some really cool ideas in it with, like, I don't know, Luigi's Ghost Mansion. You have the ghost as the gamepad player, and you have to spook everyone.
But the problem is that it's not self-explanatory. They haven't
showed people.
Exactly.
And that's one of my criticisms of it was they don't fully utilize the touchscreen thing, and that really bothers me in like Smash Bros, where I'm like, why don't they have the menu on the touchscreen? I just poke it as I go through the menu, but it's not touchscreen.
Yeah, that was a huge failing right there. With Sakurai, your menus suck.
Yeah, that's Let's be honest. Okay, the menus in Smash 4 are easily the worst part of that game. They're freaking laid out weirdly, and things are in strange places.
Do I move up or left to get to that button?
I know you can't have an icon for everything, but like, come on, just get it together. Anyway, so that was my failure. Let me do my success. Then you can go, Todd. I think it did succeed in creating a console that was very appealing to Nintendo fans. I feel like Nintendo fans are so on board with this thing because it's really good. Like Chris said, there's a lot of quality games, and I feel like they've done a really good job doing service to or a good number of classic Nintendo franchises and important Nintendo franchises. You have a Mario, you have a Zelda coming, you have a Pikmin, you're going to have an Animal Crossing this year, book it. You have a Donkey Kong. You've got major entries in most of the franchises, and also they got the eShop totally right too. The eShop is really good. I love the eShop.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say that their biggest failing was their inability to create an environment where developers want to create games for their system. Because it's difficult
You're going to need to elaborate on that one for sure.
Well, so a lot of indie devs say that it's difficult to develop for Nintendo consoles because it's just...
Well, it also says it's easy as well.
Well, I mean, Nintendo is going out of their way to try to accommodate them, but I think that's just because it's they're trying to hold their hand through a very treacherous path that they have to go through. So I think that's why they're actually, making an effort to guide them through the process, because it's not that intuitive. It's not like developing for iOS, where anybody can do it. It's not that hard.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear here for a second. Nintendo have always done this. It's just now there's options. Now third-party developers can go somewhere else.
Other people are doing it better, so there's not a reason for developers to choose Nintendo over another system because one, the sales aren't going to be as good as the other systems. So why? It's like developing for Android versus iOS. People don't like developing for Android because it's difficult because device concurrency sucks. Whereas iOS, you know exactly what you're going to get. All of the phones are the same size, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's just one standard. So what Nintendo needs to do is make it attractive for developers to develop for it, which might involve making a more powerful system that's on par with other systems. That is a high risk because that's a large investment and they might take a loss on the console sale. And so I don't really know if that's a good idea or not, given that they don't have other,
Well, we've talked about that in the past,
right? And maybe they're getting towards that with smartphones. So,
and the like Unity support,
yeah,
for the Wii U.
So I feel like things like not having a chat system is a huge bummer, and other online features. But largely, if people want to develop games for the system, then you'll have an audience because there's all of these games to play. But if no one's developing for it, then not as many people are going to buy it. It's just not an attractive platform as a whole. And I think one of the other failings is trying to
you only get one. You only get one.
Fine.
Yeah, only one, sir.
No,
so
go ahead.
I think they did do a good job with the gamepad. Like, I think it is a very interesting interface to use.
I think it's
for
great.
games.
Yeah.
It adds a lot of options for people.
Now,
if I can to use it.
Can I clarify real quick? So I'm not saying the gamepad is bad. I'm saying they didn't sell it well. They didn't say why it was.
The marketing.
They didn't do a good job selling it or all that.
Well, I think that's part of the issue. Is they like it was a necessity to try to sell it, and that's what was supposed to sell the system. I feel like that shouldn't have been the case. I feel like the system itself should have been the selling point, and the gamepad should have been ancillary to the fact that the system itself is very attractive. I think that's where they went wrong.
Okay, fair enough.
So the fact that like the success of the system rides on this weird peripheral thing is like, I think that was the mistake. They shouldn't have put so much focus on the gamepad. They should have made the focus what makes the system good. And also, look at the screen. There's a screen thing that gives you all of these different options for developers to use, but they don't have to because it's not necessary to make a good game. Like they're saying it like the gamepad is necessary to make a really cool experience. It's not, and you can see that because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze doesn't even use it. So
okay, fair enough.
That's my take.
So what's your take on what was a success?
I think the idea of the gamepad was strong. Like I don't want to play a Nintendo system that doesn't have a touchscreen controller, honestly. Like there's so many tools that you can utilize. There's a gyro sensor in it. There's an accelerometer in it.
I wish more games use the gyro. I feel like that's I really like gyro aiming. I didn't like it in Splatoon, but I liked it in.
And obviously their games are good. So
yeah.
Good on that.
Should we finally move on to Todd then?
All right, Shadow, go ahead.
Okay, well, like I said when I interjected during Shay's thing, was that I don't like how they don't fully utilize the gamepad all the time with the touchscreen sometimes, or just the menu, or they'll pause the game or something when you're trying to mess with the menu on the gamepad. And I'm trying to think of a positive now, but
there are
like
none.
the gyroscope. There are no positives to the Wii U. But I don't know. I think they did really good with the Wii U on selling their big ticket items. Like I always classify the Mario Kart 8. Animal Crossing hasn't come out yet, but that's going to go over well. But like their big ticket items have done really great for this system specifically. Like as said before, 49% of Wii U owners have Mario Kart 8. I don't know if that can be really said about their previous systems.
I don't think that can be said about any game in history.
Yeah,
except for like Super Mario Brothers or something.
Or like a pinball if you bought a new computer.
Yeah, or solitaire.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports. That's not fair either, though.
No.
I loved Wii Sports.
You know they're not
Yeah.
going to make an Animal Crossing because they put it in Mario Kart 8. That's why they're not making F-Zero either.
Oh yeah.
Also,
The
they're
logic-
canceling the Zelda U because they put Link in Mario Kart 8.
I'm actually starting to think that whole Zelda to NX thing has some weight to it, but we'll talk about that at a much
No.
later date. Why no? Why is that such a bad thing?
Shut up.
We're getting NX
Move on.
anyway. Okay, fine.
I think that they put Big Blue in Mario Kart 8 is a hint, actually.
I think
No,
you're totally
you're
wrong.
in denial.
You are.
Otherwise, you're going to make Captain Falcon cry.
You're in denial.
I was waiting for the app to come back.
Yes.
Yes. So okay, I think we. Real quick. Let's see. What would you have changed that went wrong? What would you add to make the future of the Wii U better? I feel
More
like that's.
coherent online. Okay.
I don't know if you can
Party
really
chat.
change anything that went wrong. What would I add to make the Wii U better? Just more good games. Like Xenoblade's coming out this year. Xenoblade's gonna be
I don't
freaking
think that's
amazing.
like they're doing fine on the game front. They should have had more of these standard features that other systems have had for such a long time. Like
Yeah,
a
but for
unified system,
me-
they're just
for me-
starting to get into that.
For me, I'm just so uninterested in that. I just want good games to play, man. That's all
Well,
I
yeah.
want. That's why I love the
That's
Wii U
all
so
that
much.
anybody wants. But I mean,
Is
the
because
framework
it-
has to be there,
It's almost
and that's
like
what we're talking about.
it's almost like the days of the GameCube where you just put in a game and then it's like, oh, there's the game, and you just play the game, and like you don't have to worry about ancillary stuff like voice chat in games and all this garbage that I just don't care about. And I know everyone else cares about it, but I don't, and I don't care that I don't care.
You're like the most apathetic person.
And
I've
I
ever-
don't, and I don't care that you care that I don't care that I don't care. So deal with it.
Is this too indifferent for me?
So I like,
Okay,
I
so
like
we ha-
question 6 here. by
Question 6.
Spigel Rolls,
Someone added
2013.
a new question to the list.
Spigel Rolls.
This totally was not Dan.
Spiegel Rules 2013 asks, what is your favorite type of butts? Also, why is Chris so dumb? Oh, that actually reminds me. We're not going to answer that question, but a question that has been popular is why do I hate Chris so much? And
Oh yeah, I
it's-
asked that, didn't I?
yeah, and if you don't know, you're never going to know. And that's my answer. So
Okay then.
Okay, well,
so here we are at the end of another successful podcast, maybe.
successful is relative.
I actually
subjective.
really like this show, so shut up, please. Please.
Oh man, this is getting
Shut
really
up,
heated.
please.
I'm gonna,
Shut
I'm
up,
just gonna
please.
walk away.
So yeah, I think we're about done. Anyone else have anything else you want to cover? I know we got to do Twitter handles and stuff, so don't interrupt me.
Oh.
Go watch Rush the Fort. Get
Yeah,
some
Rush the Fort.
views.
Here's a link. Here's an annotation. Sorry,
Boom.
editor. That's probably me. Crap.
There's the thumbnail. There's a preview of an episode. There's their
Shut up.
faces.
Stop
We're not
it.
doing all,
No.
we're not doing all that stuff.
Shut up.
So let's do Twitter handles. I am at Spiegelwee. You can follow me at Spiegelwee. Omni at.
Artsy Omni.
That's when you say you're Chris
I am at CJ Monk _
and Todd is.
At Rush the Four, or you can go to at Todorico for my photography, which I do regularly.
Fancy. Let's see.
He's
Anyone
so
else have anything
classy.
else? Do we have anything else we have to plug? I can't really think of anything.
Mm.
We're right up about an hour, so I think that's a good spot.
Yep.
The ZB.net is on hiatus. Don't
Shut
go
up.
there.
Please stop with that. Sorry about the delay for Effortless and Space Pirate Radio this week. It was finals week for me, so I didn't have time to put anything
Sorry.
together. So we'll have it later this week. It'll be great.
You can
College
look forward
students.
to 8-Brit though.
Yeah, April's coming out on Sunday, so actually you probably already listened to it by the time this is up. But yeah, and March Doors Maskless will have another update video eventually, so keep an eye out for that. Even though it's June already or something. So
June Jor's maskness.
in the
Majora's
in the spirit of high school yearbooks, everyone hags, have a great summer, and we will see you back on the ZB Network YouTube channel for more videos later this week or today or something.
Hagtps. Hagtps.
What's that? Have a
What are you doing there?
That's have a great time playing Splatoon.
oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay then.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
This
it.
is going after the end.
Like,
No, it's
comment,
not.
and subscribe.
Oh yeah,
They're
like,
gonna
comment,
make me
subscribe.
move the end
That's,
slate.
for Hex, Chris, Todd, Rico, I'm Spiegelwee. Thank you for listening to our show. Thank you for listening to our shows in the future. Maybe Sorry we didn't have more visual things to show you.
But look forward to that.
You're welcome.
Go back in the video and look at that monkey, because that
Yeah, if you weren't
I like
listening,
him.
if you were just listening without watching, I encourage you to go back and watch the whole thing at 2x speed. It'll be great.
The show is over.
Shut up.
Bye.
You're
Whoa.
over.
Oh my god. I'm still going.
I'm so fancy.
Bye.
You don't even know.
Oh, I freaking hate that song.
Yeah, it's the dumbest.
I'm in the fast lane.
It's not as bad as her freestyle rap though.